Hello students, we are learning English grammar today. The topic is direct speech, indirect speech, which is also called as reported speech. This is the third part of the video. In the first and the second part, we have seen the rules of conversion of direct speech into indirect speech. In this video, we will see some examples. Let us see the first example. Rita said, I am going for a movie with my mother. This is the direct speech. Let us convert this into indirect speech. Rita said will remain as it is. So let us write it here. Rita said. Now for the rest of the sentence, we will first remove these two inverted commas. We will also remove this comma. Now in between, at this position, we will introduce the word that. So let us write that here. Let us read it further. I am going for a movie with my mother. Here we can see there are two pronouns. The first one is I, the second is my. Now both these pronouns are used for Rita. So instead of I, we will write she, and instead of my, we will write her. So let us move forward. That she. Now here we have am. Am is in present tense. But while converting direct into indirect, present tense is converted into past tense. So the past tense of am will be was. Everything else will remain as it is. Was going for a movie with, here my is converted to her, so we will write her mother. So this was the first example. Now let us consider the second example. Hina said to me, all the shops were closed yesterday. Now Hina will remain as it is. The next words are said to. Now look at the previous sentence. Here we had only said, but here we have said to. So whenever in direct speech we have said to, instead of said to, we will write told. So Hina told me. Now we will remove these two inverted commas. We will remove this comma. At this place we will introduce that. So let us write that. Now this part will remain as it is. So we will write it here. That all the shops. Now look at the next word, were. This is in past tense. But while learning the rules, we have seen that past tense is converted into past participle. So the past participle form of were will be had been. Please refer to the tense table for this. So were will become had been, closed. Now here we have yesterday. So while looking at the time and place rule, we have seen that yesterday will get converted into the previous day. So this is the indirect speech or the reported speech. Rina told me that all the shops had been closed the previous day. Now let us look at the third example. father said to us, we may go to Nainital in summer. So this is the direct speech. We will convert this into indirect speech. Father will remain as it is. So we will write father. Now here we have said to. So said to will get converted into told. So here we will write told. Us will remain as it is. Now we will remove these two inverted commas. We will remove this comma as well. At this portion we will introduce that. So told us. I have written us twice. Told us that we may go to Nainital in summer. Now here we is another pronoun, but here we is not referring to father. Here we is referring to us. So the pronoun for us is we, and we cannot use any other pronoun for us. So we will write we here as it is. So we will write we. The next word is may. While learning the rule of modal verbs, we have seen that may will be converted into might. So we will write might. Everything else will be as it is. Might go to Nainital in summer. So here the indirect speech has become father told us that we might go to Nainital in summer. Now here a question might arise that go is in present tense. So actually if we follow the rules of the tenses, present tense should be converted into past tense and go should be converted into went. But here we have written go as it is. The reason is, look at this verb. This is a modal verb. So whenever any verb comes after a modal verb, the verb will always be in V1. After any modal verb, V2 or V3 is not possible. After all the modal verbs, we write only V1. So this is the reason here we have not converted go to went. So this was the third example. Now let us move on to the fourth example. Here the fourth example is, the teacher said to the students, an equilateral triangle has all three sides and all three angles equal. So this is a direct speech. We are supposed to convert it into indirect speech. The teacher will remain as it is. So we will write the teacher. Now here we have said to. Said to will be converted to told. So here we will write told the students. Now we will remove these two inverted commas. We will also remove this comma. Here we will add that. So let us write that. Now this remaining sentence, an equilateral triangle has all three sides and all three angles equal. This is in present tense. This is in present perfect tense. So according to the rule, present perfect tense has to change to past perfect tense. But this sentence, where an equilateral triangle has all the sides and all the angles equal, this is a universal truth. So in case of universal truths, the tense will not change. So the rest of the sentence will be as it is. An equilateral triangle has all the three sides and angles equal. So this was the fourth example. Now let us look at the fifth example. The fifth example is Shreya said to me, when do you intend returning my book? Now this sentence is a question. It is an interrogative sentence. But let us start this first. So here Shreya will remain as it is. Said to, generally it gets converted into told. But here it is a question. So we can introduce words like asked or inquired or questioned. So let us use the easiest word, asked. So Shreya asked me. Now let us read the rest of the sentence. When do you intend returning my book? Now here you is referring to the second person, the person who is listening to Shreya. Now whenever we have you in direct speech, you is converted to I. We have another pronoun my book. It was whose book? It was Shreya's book. So instead of my, we will write her. So let us continue. Shreya asked me. We will also remove these inverted commas and this comma, but here we will not add that. Why? Because we already have this question word when. So we will use this when itself. Asked me when. Do you. This you will become I. So do I. Now do I is the questioning form. Now when we are converting direct speech into indirect speech, the questions are not, we are not supposed to keep the questions as it is. We are supposed to convert the questioning sentences into assertive sentences. So in assertive sentences, we do not have do I. So we will use this you first, but instead of you we have written I. So we will use I first. So Shreya asked me when I. Now here we have do intend. But here do intend, this is in present tense. And this is not a universal truth. So present will be converted into past. So past for intend will be intended. Everything else will remain as it is. Intended returning her book. So the indirect speech becomes Shreya asked me when I intended returning her book. So this is how we convert all the questioning sentences into indirect speech. We will consider the next example. we have moved on to the sixth example. The sixth example is the reporter said to the writer, "Are you writing a novel on the problems of teenagers?" This is the direct speech. Let us start. The reporter will remain as it is. So we will write the reporter. Now said to is generally converted into told. But here we have a question. So we will write asked. The writer. Now we will remove these inverted commas. We will remove this commas also. We have to convert this interrogative sentence into assertive sentence. So this question mark will also be removed. Now the question is, are you writing a novel on the problem of teenagers? So the answer can either be yes or no. So this is a yes-no question. So whenever we are dealing with yes-no questions, we are supposed to introduce either if or whether. We have studied this while studying the rules. So here we will introduce if. The reporter asked the writer if you. Here you is referring to the writer. So if we consider the writer is male, we can write he. If we consider the writer is female, we can write she. So I am writing she. If she, now here we have are. Are is in present tense. We are supposed to convert this into past tense. So this will become was writing a novel on the problems of teenagers. Full stop. Let us consider the next example. Neeta said to her brother, "Do not misplace my things." Now as we can see, this is an imperative sentence. This is an order. So in the first part of the video, we have seen whenever we have either orders or request, we introduce some new words. In case of orders, we introduce tell plus infinitive. In case of request, we introduce ask plus infinitive. Instead of ask, we can also use request. Here, instead of tell, we can also use ordered, commanded, asked. So in this case, let us start converting this into indirect speech. Neeta will remain as it is. Neeta. Next we have said to. So instead of tell, the said to can be converted into asked. So Neeta asked her brother, "Do not misplace my things." Now we have finished with the tell version. Now we have infinitive. Infinitive means to plus the verb form. Here the verb is do and misplace. We will omit do and we will write not to misplace. So Neeta asked her brother not to misplace. Now we have the pronoun my. This my is used for Neeta. So this will be converted into her. So misplace her things. Now the last example for today will be Meeta said to her mother, please let me complete the jigsaw puzzle before doing the homework. Now let us try to convert this into indirect speech. Meeta will remain as it is. Here said to will be converted into request plus infinitive. So here request will be converted to requested because past tense. So Neeta requested her mother, please let me complete the jigsaw puzzle. So here we are done with the request part. Now we have to add infinitive. That means we have to add to. So Neeta requested her mother to let. Now let is the verb here. So we have added the infinitive to let me. Now me is referring to Meeta here. So instead of me we will write her. Let her complete the jigsaw puzzle before doing the homework. So here the indirect speech becomes Meeta requested her mother to let her complete the jigsaw puzzle before doing the homework. Now that's all for today. We will meet again in the fourth part of the same video and we will solve some other examples.